Welcome. This is Barry Jones from Angelic Wisdom, and we're here for our weekly Ascension Angel Messages for D- for January 6th through the 12th, 2025. So, as we take a look at this reading, um, first of all, the tarot deck is called the Nemeth Tarot, and it's by a tarot creator, um, Jonasa Jaus. I believe that she is located in Portugal or Spain, um, and her decks are very unique. And this one happens to be a, based on some uh, Galician sort of stories or folklore or something this way. There's no guidebook as of yet. Um, I believe that the language that's being used is um, I don't I don't know if it's Galilean. I don't know, but I don't even know if I've even got the right name of the area where it's based on. But I see on the box here it's made in Spain. So I know nothing about this deck at all because she hasn't printed a guidebook yet. And the language that's on the cards, I have a little guide here that lets me know what the names of the suits are. Um, from working with another one of her decks, I kind of recognize some things as well. This is a little different in that it has for the coins, this is it says conchas, and the espadas is the swords, paus is wands, and the grial or the grail are the cups. Okay, so that's about all I know. And I kept asking the angels just to give you a sort of a sense of this deck, for which deck they wanted me to use in my vast collection of tarot and oracle. And I kept seeing the pictures in this deck. So I'm trusting and going along with it for now. Um, it's a very moody deck. It's a definitely very a lot of watery nature. It feels like you're going into this very like you're going deep within the heart of the earth, um, and really just being and communing with the beautiful elements. But however, there is sort of this um, ancient setting, and she'll list, there are mermaids, there are it just kind of looks very biblical, kind of, not like, from that time or era, not necessarily depicting, well, there are monks and some Christian iconography as well. So, yeah, I don't know if I would be accurate, but I would have to say it has to be, you know, the earliest era of Christianity and the church establishment, because there are popes and things like that. And there seems to be stars on the back of these cards. So there's definitely some relationship in this deck between heaven and earth and the fullness of the earth. And there's very lush scenes. And there are some seasons depicted as well. So I'm just going to, and also it's based on sort of, I can't think of the writer. I don't even know how to pronounce his name if I could think of it. For the Marseille style decks. So some of the cards might not be. It's definitely has an RWS sort of faint structure outline, but it really definitely um, is based on this other system more at its core. But I've always read her decks just based on the RWS as best as possible. All right, so let's take a moment and to take a deep breath and to really ground your roots deep into the earth, deep into the heart of Lady Gaia. Just have the intention. And the very first thing that I saw was this setting similar to this deck, and the tree branches, or I'm sorry, the tree trunks almost looked like prison bars at first, sort of almost feeling being locked out of this magical world. But very swiftly, it changed into the tree trunks, and it opened into sort of these thatched roofed homes that you're going to possibly see in this deck. And everything just sort of opened up and became magical and very peaceful. So in this week, there's a feeling of at first being sort of locked out in the sense of not having access. You may feel like you don't quite have access to what your true intentions are. So if you've had this sense of New Year's resolutions and intentions, don't be quickly phased by any illusions. Don't allow yourself to be quickly disillusioned, is the word I'm really feeling, by things that your intentions aren't immediately manifested, right? And they keep writing the word passport. And I feel like this is something that might be holding you up. And I don't know if this is literal, like you're traveling somewhere, but what I did also see was sort of um, the hangman. You know how we used to do it the one side, but this is sort of like double side, right? So there's the trunk in the center and two hanging sort of hooks that the hangman would hang from. And it just gives me a sense of patience. So whatever it is that you're trying to get access to, whether it's in the literal, maybe if you have travel plans, or you're just there's some document or something that you need in order to move forward, whatever type of plans you have, and it could be any kind of document, or it could be something, a requirement that you think that you're supposed to have. um, be patient. There's a reason why things aren't moving right away. And they wrote the word sento, which if it makes me think of the Italian word for feeling. It may not even be, but um, but so there's a sense of like really being present in your with your feelings. Pay attention to how you feel. Pay attention to the feelings of impatience. And is this a key for something that you need to deal with in order to gain access? Have you, in times, months, in years before, have you not really gotten the message to surrender as the key to opening gates for you, gates of opportunities, gates that lead you to your expectations, to help you to fulfill your purpose and your goals. There's a sense of you, and I see these thatched kind of homes, but I'm seeing all different shapes, and there's a simplicity in this. And this deck just harkens us back to a simpler time, right? And these homes that I'm seeing, the definition of luxury might be a very simple one in the sense of having space, but not all the amenities that we're used to now. But you have the space you need. You have the sense of security, peace, and happiness, and the sense that you can create this for yourself. And I think about this time where probably the communities joined in and helped people to build their homes, right? And so we've gotten away from that sense of community where we're so easily divided by the slightest suspicions. And most of those suspicions really come from or projections of your own ego. These are your own feelings of inadequacy. And they write the word grail in the sense that we need to really look inside the cup of our souls, the grail of our souls, and really see what it is that we're holding in that grail. It is very important as I look into it and I see this, it's the beautiful metal, the rich, elegant, and metal that's in the pattern that's within the grail, and how clear the water is. And it can either go from just clear, beautiful, crystal like quartz like water, or it can be kind of smoky quartz. And so what you want to do is really keep clearing, letting go, checking into this grail of your soul on a very daily, moment to moment basis, and keep inviting light into that grail of your soul. You can call upon the Christ light, and there are many rays, 7 rays of Christ light. You can call on those rays of the Christ light, or you can call upon Master Merlin, who right now is in charge of these rays of the Christ light, and he has a pool of energy that's been established. And so if you can just think about that, and you'll have immediate access to it. And just call in these Merlin to bring these healing rays of the Christ light, all of its different emanations, into your soul to cleanse and with the idea that you're willing to surrender, to release whatever it is you're holding on to let it go. Otherwise, if you don't, you just keep compounding issues, and things get complicated and obscured. You lose focus, clarity, and commitment around goals that are important. So as you surrender, allow yourself to focus on what's really important to you, that matters to you most at this time. And leave ego aside. As you surrender, what will happen is you're surrendering to love. And you're trusting that love is a part of, is the catalyst for everything that you need. It'll bring to you the team of support in the way that you need it, that allows you to feel supported in your efforts, but also realizing the potential in ways you couldn't have imagined when you surrender. So let's just take a deep breath and just let yourself be. There was a song I was working with my students on before we left. It was Happiness Runs in a Circular Motion. Maybe you know that love is a little boat upon the sea. You think about just love, it's just flowing. If we're doing anything else like manipulating, it's not love, because love is just something that you have to allow it to flow the way it wants to be, the way it's going, because love is also about trust. And it's about trusting the universe, trusting love, the universe. And then it says everyone is a part of everything anyway, right? Love, the universe, all floating upon the sea. And the last part says, you can be happy if you let yourself be. And when they show me, naked behinds or naked or nude, this to me represents just a letting yourself be who you are, not trying to be, but just letting yourself be. So maybe that to be or not to be, maybe somewhere in between that, just is letting yourself be is the real answer. Don't try to be, or don't try not to be. Just let yourself be. The song says you can be happy if you let yourself be. Don't try to restrain yourself, but don't try to make things happen before they're ready. Be where you are. Be, and when you're being where you are, you're in the flow. You've totally surrendered. And you're letting what needs to happen until you feel a spark of passion, eagerness, inspiration. And then you become an activated participant in the flow where you are doing and moving and being and dancing, but all in the flow according to how it is motivating you, rather than ego, which is always motivated by fear. And this, I don't know why they wrote the word earthquake, but this creates those rumblings of instability and panic and worry. It causes you to be drawn into the negativity. And you start to feel like the earth is, is beneath your feet is just crumbling. And you're sinking in the abyss of all of that. But even in that abyss, there is a spark of purpose. Nothing happens without a reason. This is why you just need to let yourself be, because they write the word manifest. Something out of that spark is always manifesting a purpose for you, something better than what you could do for yourself from a place of fear and ego. All right, let's take a look at the Archangel, and it's Archangel Haniel, and this beautiful full moon energy that you see here. Um, and it says, seek soul satisfaction. What a great message for us to start off with the first full week in the new year of 2025. Seek soul satisfaction. And you just see this energy of water, bubbles here and dolphins in the center of that bubble. It's sort of like making, when reminds me of when we were kids with the bubble liquid, and you dip the thing in and you just blow it. And it's sort of like letting your dreams go, trusting that your intentions go out immediately throughout the universe. And even though the bubbles might pop in front of your eyes, but the air that was inside is released, the light of your intention. And when you see the bubbles, you can see light and water and air and the spark of the sun within it, right? So it's like all the elements are there. And it just gets released into the ethers when they pop. And those planes of consciousness where the divine has received your kiss of light and blessings and desire. So how can you move forward in this week, in this year, seeking that, your soul satisfaction? And they show me these bars again over a window. And it seems like if you're not able, and they write deepest, go into your deepest desires of your soul. There's something about not just staying on the surface, that we've all been surfacing with our desires, meaning either not being fully committed, mainly because we don't deeply believe that they're possible or that we deserve them, and we've been cheating ourselves. And so now they want you to really go deep. Go deep. Even if it feels like you're going to drown in it all. Go deep to that experience within your soul where you are truly satisfied by what your soul is offering you and what it wants for you and the vision that it holds for you. Give this to yourself. But don't be disappointed if it has nothing to do with the things that you think you need in order to be seen, validated, and understood, and to matter. Because all that wanting to matter is really ego driven. It's not soul satisfaction. And this is a very powerful year. Remember, 2025 is the hermit number, numerologically. So it's really important that you or this year will cause you to withdraw from all that external stimulation and, feeding that societal illusion of happiness and all of its ideas and all the sales pitch, or sale pitches that were constantly being thrown towards us from so many, many directions. And that's why it's going to be really important. I think I said in one of the readings, maybe the monthly, to really place light around you, because there's so much that's being directed towards us, because the ego-driven greed of the elite, it's sort of like they're just baiting us, like they're fishermen, and they're baiting us for our salaries they write. It's not what they're offering for love, because it's about caring about you and wanting you to have the best, and they want to offer you these things that are going to really connect you with your soul. It's really distracting you from it. And I think when I see sex written with a capital letter, it's about that intimacy with the soul, with the divine. You were made and by this and by the divine, and you're intimately and intricately and intrinsically connected. You were never separated. And all of this world, external world, and the fish baiting is causing us to believe that we don't have a solid world, a reality of light and love within ourselves, and that we don't have the ability to heal ourselves on so many levels, or to heal the division between us. This is not at all true. And once you unplug yourself from all those external hooks, you will rediscover your wholeness, your oneness, your power and strength, your courage, your profound love, and deep fulfillment. And the next message says, fan a flame of inner happiness. And it's through this process of surrendering all the hooks that you will be able to do so. You'll be able to be when you let yourself be. Okay, let's take a look at the cards here, the energies of the cards, and many of these cards. So today these cards were laid from left to right. Right to left. So that means this is, really focusing within, looking inside of that grail of our souls. Don't take the things that are happening outside of you personally, because everything is responding to who you are focusing, how you're seeing yourself. And this is a beautiful card. This is the Star card. And we see a beautiful baby here laying out in the open sky. And there's a sense, that beautiful star there, of connecting and tuning in with the stellar energy, your stellar origin. And even if you have a sense or don't have a sense of what your stellar origin is, know that the same spark of light that the stars represent to us in general, these bodies of divinity are saying to you always that you are just as magnificent and your light is just as bright and powerful and influential. Bring yourself into balance, into the wholeness that this they symbolically represent. And this nudity then and this newness, this purity of this newborn is really giving us a strong sense of purification and illumination. And protection. And they write Costa, I don't know what it means, but it's then the word focus. And it seems like be aware in this illumination and purification of the things that the impurities or the in lack of focus, the confusion, what it costs you when you're not clear and focused on your spiritual goals, because this is where that soul satisfaction comes from. And this is an important aspect of getting in touch with all the powers and resources and opportunities that are available in 2025 for you. This purification will allow you to have unlimited access to your stellar origins. Take a look at the next card. And this is the 10 of cups, or the 10 of grail. And we just see this beautiful sort of just open space, this land and the earth and the water in the center and the star-filled clouds above. And it's sort of this, it looks like it feels almost like sunset, right? So there's this contentment energy of this card where everything is right with the world. It's right with yourself. It's interesting that phrase, being right with the world. That's the distraction from happiness. But being right with yourself, this is the ultimate goal. This is the begin. This is how you get to be aware of the grail within you and that soul satisfaction and the retention of that purity and stellar purpose within yourself. So at the end of every day, reset when you get home. Work with water, the element of water, through taking a shower to cleanse yourself. And I know this is something I felt like I needed to do every day, and I was just too tired and too lazy to do it. But I'm hoping that I will be able to do this because it seems like it's going to be very important to us in the setting sun to release, to surrender, and let go of the day. So let's try to all do this together to make this a ritual. And then, whatever is in your heart, see the grail and let whatever is bothering you or from the day that feels unfinished, surrender it to the universe with love. Trust. Trust is not about trusting in the things outside of you, but it's trusting in the love of the universe that is you. It surrounds you, it's within you. Trusting that it knows the solutions to bring forward for you at this time, not what you want, but what you need. And in order to be in alignment with that need, you have to shift your perspective. You have to start really being grateful and appreciative for what you are witnessing, whether you understand it or not. As you prepare your lens to understand, eventually the clarity will become immediate, and you will see or understand that there was and there is a reason behind every event unfolding, purpose to help you access your potential, and that it's all helping you to just get into the flow. It doesn't matter what's coming next and what path and what turns it makes, because a lot of it is just to help you to surrender to the flow, where the abundance and opulence of alignment is so soothing to your spirit, to your body and your nervous system and your mental health, that you seek nothing outside of yourself again. Sorry, I'm out of breath. I got a parcel in the middle of recording. And so they're just showing me this beautiful gateway and this very long passage that's very peaceful. And at the other end of it is written the word faith. And this just gives us a reassurance as I see this white-capped mountain in the far distance. At the edge of this, it seemed like a opening in a cliff, this gateway. And been way down in the valley is this vast greenery. And at first I saw the word fear, but it was a sense that everything is going to be okay. Going deep into the soul is going to be all about your worth. And coming out of it, it might present a lot of challenges, but coming out of it, fear sort of landed into this valley. And then as they took me down, there was this clearing of grass that just sort of flattened out, and a duck was sort of there. There's a sense of it being kind of watery, marsh land with a lot of thick grass. And just, being able to flow, the sense of lightness. And I'm seeing sort of animals. Saw a dog, and they're just all. I'm seeing a lion now, and some of this. It's very like land and water. It's very with land and water. It's very close together, if you know what I mean, in terms of it's very lowland, and there are streams, and sometimes the water even runs underneath some of the grassy parts. So it's almost like, you're swimming in grass, and then there's some of the grass that's really on some shallow earth formations. And I'm just seeing this when I'm talking, just describing it. They haven't let this vision go yet. But it's so peaceful and relaxing. And it's this sense of how everything just flows and is in harmony with one another. I'm seeing an alligator, and none of these different animals are, none of them are a threat. They are, seeing a bunny rabbit, I'm seeing a human who's completely naked. He's just being, and the rabbit and the lion and the alligator and now a pig, they just all kind of playing together. And there's a snake, and it's just, you can feel the love, the harmony, the unity as every one of us purifies ourselves within. The signature, the frequency of fear or threat is removed. It just dissipates. And then all of the signals that are emanating from love is one of great grace, peace, and understanding. When we now don't have the hooks bombarding us, we understand each other. And we, for the first time, I think this is what it means to accept our differences. Because the biases are gone, and we're not threatened or suspicious or fearful of the things that we don't know, or the things that are not, in terms of, this is not my experience, right? Like, we don't know what it's like to be a lion or an alligator or a snake or a bunny, and they don't know what it's like to be human or the others. But what they have is now this clear signal of love. They say 100%. At some point, our heart chakras are going to open fully 100%. And our higher heart, which is at the core of the heart chakra, those petals open, we'll have peace within ourselves, harmony and understanding and unconditional love. It'll be all existing within us. And then we will no longer emit these signals of conflict, of prejudice, and mistrust, and ego. And we'll just be communicating with one another with such profound clarity that we understand one another, and no longer are afraid of our outer shells, but see the purpose and the love, the purpose that love chose these various forms, and the gift that we've been to each other all this time. All right, let's take a look at the next card. And I don't know if you can see, because I can barely see. Oh, this is the Lover's card. What a nice little rounding here. So we're coming back to the Lover's card, and I think it said something like Amorados or something. It's the Lover's card, and you see this beautiful green, lush land, and that it looks like there's a little pond with some rocks in it, and then there's a boulder in the middle of that pond, and they're sitting there. What's interesting is this rock, very phallic looking, and this pond is definitely representing that divine feminine, so the masculine and feminine, this balance of the two. And, one is hard and one is soft. And there's a purpose for, in our world, the elements and the formations that they take and the textures that they have, the contrast of them. And that we need all of them in order to, it's like being in a playground that has everything that is needed, like the Garden of Eden that this card often depicts. And it's about having everything you need to really be. So the more that you find harmony with your surroundings and acceptance of the way things are in the Eden that you reside in now, no matter, and I'm using Eden not in this sense of paradise, but it ultimately is your paradise. It's just that you don't, through the lens of ego, the ego distorts paradise and makes us see it with suspicion and distrust and sometimes hatred and detest, right? But if you can bring yourself to accepting your Eden the way it is, and that there are many tools and keys and codes that would allow you to help you. They're not there to set you back, but to set you up. And once you do that, you become in harmony. That's coming back to this card and the first card. All right, let's take a look at the last card. I was so worried about reading with this deck. It's amazing, and it's exquisite, the messages that we're getting without the understanding of any of what's going on in this card. And here we have the Six of Swords, and look at that, unusual. I'm so glad I listened. I'm so glad I went with the flow, and my ego was really trying to, and I kept asking, and they kept showing it to me like 5-6 times, same images from this card. And I put it away, and I was, and and this is a card of the mind, right? And usually we see someone in a boat going with the flow, letting the water take them where they're going. Here we see somebody sitting down by the bank on the earth, the other receptive element to the water. And we don't really see swords or anything, tools of that nature, but we know that there's air, right, flowing all around. And so the setting shows the mind, the atmosphere around her shows the air element of total contentment and peace, right? And that the mind, by focusing on the water element, the soul, when you let your mind just focus on the flow of the soul, the mind is its healthiest potential. And when the mind is its healthiest potential, and the flow of the soul is at its highest purification, because the soul mind is at its highest clarity, then you have a transfiguration, a transformation, and a transition away from that battle mentality. And this is going to be our biggest thing to work on in 2025, as the days of this particular week precede major shifts and transitions, especially in America for us. The world inside of you is far more important than what's going on outside of you, because the influence of your inner world is the true power of this world. And by giving it away to those who would lure you with their hooks into their despair or into their causation of despair, their creation of despair, is for one purpose. Because when love is the highest influence, it truly rules. Fear is not a power, it is a persuasion to give away power. And none of us must be derelict in our duty to own our power and to let ourselves be the influence that will carry us safely towards the harmony and the ascension that the planet is moving on. Nothing can deter it but our collective attention away from it. So I send you lots of love and angel blessings in this week. Stay focused and keep yourself pure.